My drone buzzed like a hornet, slicing through the sky above my backyard, when a fist pounded on my door so hard the windows rattled. "Open up, or we're coming," and a voice barked, dripping with self-righteous fury. I froze, mid-flight, wondering who the hell thought they could storm my house like it was a drug bust. I'm Jake Harper, just a guy trying to film some sweet aerial shots of my quiet little neighborhood in Willow Creek, Colorado. It's the kind of place where kids ride bikes until dark, and the biggest drama is whose dog crapped on whose lawn. Or so I thought. I'd moved here 6 months ago, chasing a slower pace after years in Denver's grind. My backyard's my sanctuary, big enough for my drone to dance without bothering anyone. At least, that's what I figured until the HOA decided I was public enemy number one. I set the drone down on my patio table and cracked open the front door. Three guys in crisp navy polos with HOA stitched in gold loomed on my porch, looking like they'd rehearsed for a SWAT team audition. The leader, a stocky dude with a buzz cut and a clipboard, shoved a piece of paper in my face. "You're in violation of Willow Creek HOA Regulation 47B. No unauthorized aerial devices. Hand over the drone, now." I blinked, half laughing. "You're kidding, right? It's my property. I'm not hurting anyone." Buzzcut didn't flinch. His buddies, one with a walkie-talkie crackling nonsense and another clutching a wrench like he was ready to dismantle my life, stepped closer. "We don't negotiate with rule breakers," Buzzcut snapped. "You've got 10 seconds, or we confiscate it by force." This wasn't just about a drone. It was about control. Willow Creek's HOA had been flexing its muscles lately, fining people for unapproved mailbox colors, banning kids' lemonade stands, even dictating how many potted plants you could have on your porch. But this storming my doorstep like wannabe cops over a $200 drone, it was absurd. I wasn't backing down. "Over my dead body," I said, crossing my arms. That's when walkie-talkie guy radioed for backup, and I realized this was about to get uglier than a HOA meeting over lawnmower noise. The absurdity hit peak levels when their backup rolled up in a golf cart decked out with a flashing red light, like some budget Batmobile. Out stepped Karen, yes. That Karen, the HOA president who'd once sent me a $50 fine for leaving my trash can out an hour past curfew. She wore the same Navy HOA polo, her blonde bob bouncing as she marched toward me, waving a megaphone. A freaking megaphone. In a neighborhood of 200 people. "Jacob Harper," she blared, her voice echoing off the cul-de-sac. "You are in direct violation of community standards. Surrender your illegal device or face immediate sanctions." Neighbors started poking their heads out, curtains twitching. Old Mr. Jenkins across the street, who'd been cited for his tacky garden gnomes, gave me a sympathetic nod. I could feel the eyes of Willow Creek boring into me. I tried reasoning. "Karen, it's a drone, not a missile. I fly it over my own yard." "What's the harm?" she scoffed, her manicured nails tapping her clipboard. "The harm, it's a safety hazard. It's a privacy invasion." "Mrs. Delaney saw it hovering over her hydrangeas yesterday." I bit back a laugh. "Mrs. Delaney's hydrangeas were half dead anyway." But Karen wasn't joking. She gestured to Buzzcut, who stepped toward my patio, eyeing my drone like it was contraband. That's when the spark of defiance in me caught fire. "You step on my property, and I'm calling the real cops." I warned. Karen smirked. "We are the authority here." "Jake, you signed the HOA agreement when you moved in. We can seize anything that violates our rules." She nodded to Wrench Guy, who started toward my drone, his tool gleaming with malicious intent. I don't know what possessed me. Maybe it was the principle. Maybe it was the audacity, but I grabbed my phone and started recording. "Smile, Karen. This is going viral." Her face twisted, and she lunged for my phone. But I dodged. The neighbors were out in full force now, some filming, others shouting. "Leave him alone," yelled Maria, The single mom next door who'd been fined for her kids' chalk drawings. "This is ridiculous," hollered Mr. Jenkins, waving his gnome like a battle flag. The situation was spiraling, and I was loving every second of it. Until Wrench Guy made a move for my drone. He grabbed it, yanked too hard, and crack, one of the propellers snapped. Sparks flew as the battery shorted, and the drone hit the patio, smoking. My jaw dropped. That wasn't just a toy. It was my escape, my creative outlet. Rage boiled in my chest. "You broke it," I roared, stepping toward him. Buzzcut blocked me, his hand on my shoulder. "Back off, or you're looking at a lawsuit." That's when the twist hit. A sleek black SUV screeched into the cul-de-sac, tires squealing. The door flew open, and out stepped my sister, Rachel, in a crisp blazer, her FAA badge glinting in the fading sunlight. I hadn't seen her in months. She worked out of Denver, regulating airspace for the Federal Aviation Administration. I'd texted her in a panic 10 minutes ago, half joking, never expecting her to show up. But here she was, all 5'2" of her radiating "don't mess with me" energy. "Step away from my brother and his property," Rachel commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. The HOA goons froze, their bravado crumbling. Karen's megaphone dangled uselessly in her hand. "Who are you?" she stammered. Rachel flashed her badge, her eyes locked on Karen. "Rachel Harper, FAA. That drone you just destroyed, it's registered under federal regulations, and you're in violation of about 6 FAA codes by interfering with it." She turned to Buzzcut, who was still holding the smoking drone. "Put it down. Now." The crowd gasped. Phones were up, capturing every second. Rachel didn't stop. "You think you can play Sky Police in your little HOA uniforms? The FAA regulates airspace, not your backyard dictatorship. You've got no jurisdiction here." She pulled out her phone, already dialing. "I'm calling my supervisor to report an unauthorized seizure of registered aviation equipment. You're looking at federal charges." Karen's face went white. "This is a community matter," she protested. Rachel laughed, sharp and cold. "Community. You're terrorizing people over drones and garden gnomes. You broke federal property. That's not a community matter. That's a crime." The neighbors erupted, their pent-up frustration spilling over. Maria shouted, "They fined me $200 for my kid's bike being too bright." Mr. Jenkins waved his gnome higher. "They tried to ban my holiday lights." The cul-de-sac became a battlefield of voices, each one airing grievances against the HOA's reign of terror. It was glorious chaos, and I was at the center, my broken drone a symbol of their overreach. Buzzcut dropped the drone like it was radioactive. Wrench Guy backed away, muttering apologies. Karen tried to rally, raising her megaphone, but Rachel snatched it from her. "Enough," Rachel boomed through it, her voice shaking the windows. "This HOA is done bullying people. You want to play cop, try it with the FAA. We don't mess around." The crowd cheered, a wave of defiance washing over Willow Creek. Karen and her goons retreated to their golf cart, tails between their legs, as neighbors chanted, "No more HOA." Rachel turned to me, smirking. "You owe me a beer." "Jake." I grinned, my heart pounding. "Make it a 6-pack. The fallout was swift and brutal. By morning, my video of the standoff had 200,000 views on X, with comments like "HOA tyrants got schooled" and "FAA sister is a legend." Local news picked it up, running headlines like "Fake HOA cops humiliated by FAA agent." The public's outrage was a tidal wave petition circulated to dissolve the HOA, and Karen resigned in disgrace, citing personal reasons. Turns out, the HOA's regulations were mostly made up, with no legal backing. The drone incident was the spark that lit the fuse. I got a new drone, courtesy of a crowdfunding campaign started by Maria. Willow Creek started healing. Neighbors talking openly for the first time, united against petty tyranny. Rachel, my unexpected hero, became a local celebrity, though she shrugged it off, saying, just doing my job. But the real punchline. A week later, I got a letter from the FAA. Karen had filed a complaint against me for unsafe drone operation. Rachel laughed it off, saying it wouldn't stick. Karma's a bitch, she said, tossing the letter in the trash. I couldn't agree more. What do you think? Have you ever dealt with an HOA gone wild? Or do you have a story of standing up to petty power trips? Drop your thoughts below. I'd love to hear them.